What's up guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon coverage video. And today, since yesterday we got the reveal of the Zygarde forms in Sun and Moon, I thought I'd do a small little theory. It's nothing too big, so this video hopefully won't be too long, but I'm calling it the Zygarde Colors theory. It's a bit of a theory and a bit of just an Easter egg, but it could mean something to come. We don't really know yet. But of course we're talking about Zygarde's complete form here. Now if we look onto the complete form's chest, we can see on this image, there's a line that sort of goes, zigzags along the center of the chest, and it goes from blue to light blue to white to orange, to orange and to red. And this could be like an Easter egg, or like it could be, looking back at it, it's a hint at what was to come almost. Because if I pull up this image, this is from one of the posters for the movie. It's much easier to see here because actually his chest is opened up and you can see what's giving off the light, i.e. these 5 sort of crystals in the center. We have a dark blue one, a sort of a cyan light blue one, a white one, a what would you call that, orange, and then finally a red one. Now, if I do this, you can see clearly the X and Y, the two, blue is X and Y is red, easy there. And then if I pull up the moon and sun icons, you can see again the moon icon is a slightly lighter blue than the X icon, hence it makes a lot of sense for that crystal. And the sort of the sun icon, orange in colour, again makes a lot of sense for that, which leaves us just with the central white gem. Now what is this? Well, it could just be a sort of like a central piece. So, instead of the colour going from blue to orange, it's like this is white, this is the centre, all coming together, that's sort of the theme of Sun and Moon, it would seem. Or it could be something else, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But first things first, or the next thing I want to do, is actually if I get rid of the icons and switch them for legendaries. So obviously the legendary for each of these games, we have Xerneas for X, Yveltal for Y, Lunala for Moon, and Solgaleo for Sun. You can see each of those has at least some of the colour that the gem has. For example, Xerneas has got the sort of the blue colour on its sort of upper half, which makes sense for that. Yveltal obviously has red over the majority of its body, so it's clearly for the red gem. Lunala doesn't really have the lighter blue colour across its whole body, but you can see in its central sort of chest area there is this glowing light blue whitey orb, which does fit it a bit better, but the whole sort of colour of Lunala makes sense, especially when it sort of lights up. And then finally Solgaleo, there's no bright orange on it, but we do have smears of orange as well as these sort of very harsh yellows as well, so it does make a lot of sense there. So what I want to imagine for a second is that this is a hint, or a possible hint, to a trio master, or I'm not going to say trio master, I'm going to say quad master. Doesn't make a lot of sense there, but a theory some people are having is that it's not sort of a very built theory. It's not like people are saying, oh, this is definitely going to happen, it's going to be the thing. Imagine if, okay, each of these gems in Zygarde's chest, yes, each one correlates to a legendary. Imagine if they are gems that give it power against that legendary in sort of a lore term. So it has this dark blue gem, which allows it to combat Xerneas, and this red gem to combat Yveltal, and then the other two, blue and orange, to combat Lunala and Solgaleo. What I mean here is, obviously we know Zygarde is the order Pokemon. It keeps order. When the ecosystem is in danger and in threat, it comes and appears. This sort of works out for Xerneas and Yveltal, since Xerneas gives life, Yveltal brings death. So obviously you don't want too much life, because then the world becomes overpopulated, the ecosystem cannot sustain itself, and you don't want too much death, because then, well, there's no ecosystem. So Zygarde, when it was first revealed and we found it was the order Pokemon, it made sense for it to sort of keep order between them. But what if Zygarde was also the order Pokemon for Lunala and Solgaleo? It's a bit of a weird, sort of more abstract concept, since they don't really bring anything. Lunala is the sort of the messenger of the moon, or the emissary of the moon, as is Solgaleo to the sun. So the order in this case could be maybe if there is, if Solgaleo is more powerful than Lunala, then the sun will shine more than the moon, sort of thing. It's a bit of a weird concept. You could imagine it though, because obviously we don't want the sun to be shining 24/7, because we would struggle to sleep. I'm not going to say it would be an inherently bad thing and the world would end because of it, but it's possible that bad things could happen if the sun's out too long. Everyone needs time to have a bit of darkness, I suppose. But obviously, conversely, it would be very bad if the sun was never out and we had perpetual darkness with the moon up, because obviously nothing would grow because there was no sunlight, or very little sunlight, even though, because the moonlight is some sort of form of sunlight, but it's not much. Anyway, it wouldn't be useful for plants, and they wouldn't grow and everything like that if there was perpetual darkness. Hence why there might need to be some order between when the moon is out and when the sun is out, sort of thing. It's a very abstract concept because, of course, when the sun and moon is out is not something that necessarily be defined by a Pokemon, because it's a physical, it's a process that we have no control over. Pretty much no two Pokemon can, even if these two Pokemon were the sun and the moon, there is no physical way they would be able to say, yeah, the sun's going to be out all the time, sort of thing. So that's what I'm sort of saying there, for why Zygarde could be the master of all of them and control all of them. But then you say, well, why wouldn't there be a trio master for Solgaleo and Lunala? Well, there might be, of course. Now, what I wanted to look at for a second here is, obviously we have Complete Zygarde form. There's also the Strange Souvenir we need to think about, because Strange Souvenir was something we got an X and Y, and we were told it was the protector of the region this backpacker was from. And obviously we know that's the Alola region now, the protector. So this could possibly be, when we thought about it, okay, it's a legendary, protects the region sort of thing. One option is it could be the Trio Master of Solgaleo and Lunala, and protects the region from those two warring legendaries, for example. And I just want to compare it to Zygarde quickly. I mean, it is not a gripping likeness, of course. You have the two eyes. I mean, it's a human-like Pokemon, as is the Souvenir in a way. But it's not, it's not an uncanny likeness. You have to sort of squint a bit to see it. There's no nostrils on Zygarde, for example, but it is a similarity of sorts. I'm not saying that Souvenir actually represents Zygarde. It's just an idea. In which case the Complete Zygarde form could be the protector of Alola, between Solgaleo and Lunala. However, we also have Marshadow to think about. Marshadow being the final Pokemon trademark we sort of saw. It was trademarked at the same time as Solgaleo, Lunala, and the starters, so it's very likely it's a Pokemon. And since it was trademarked at the same time, that's two trios, or 6 names, 3 for starters, 2 legends. The last one's most likely a legend as well, rather than a random Pokemon. So, for example, Marshadow, imagine it's the trio leader. Okay, so the Zygarde theory sort of goes all out the window. Marshadow looks like Strange Souvenir in a way. But, it could still tie in, because obviously on Zygarde's chest, we have blue for Xerneas, blue for Lunala, orange for Solgaleo, red for Yveltal. What if the white in the centre is for Marshadow? Just to sort of tie it all together. Now, it'd be really weird having a sort of a pure white legendary, Hello Arceus, especially for Marshadow, because it's got a shadow in its name. But there are several ways it could be done, of course. I don't really have any good designs for a Marshadow. I like this Eclipse Pokemon design there. This looks really cool. Doesn't fit in with the theme, of course, because, unless maybe if you made its fur a bit more whiter, it could fit in. But that's it, really. That's the Eclipse Pokemon. What I want to know is, what do you think down below about the Zygarde colours? Do you think they're going to mean anything? Do you think Zygarde is possibly the trio leader, the order Pokemon for all 4 of these legendaries, and Marshadow is just like a red herring, possibly? And Zygarde could be like a main player in Sun and Moon's main storyline, hence we got Complete Zygarde to look at. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below, though, because it's a very interesting topic, even though it's sort of unlikely that Zygarde's going to be as integrated as this seems. It's fun to think about, so let me know what you think down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, but for now, this is going to be it for me for today. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.